Hello, everyone. You're welcome to another exciting, enlightening, and informative episode on the Amorgage Radio Communication Program series with me. My name is Adipiju Jayoba, and together we have been looking at reconnecting work generations through organizational culture. It's such a delight to have you here. I'm glad to have you here, and I am sure that you're going to learn so much today that will be useful and instrumental to the progress and productivity of your organization. Thank you so much for joining in today. So far on the series, we have learned so much about organizational culture. We have looked at the definition of organizational culture. We have looked at its importance to the organization, to the employees in the organization, and we have considered the characteristics, some of the characteristics of organizational culture. We looked at characteristics such as innovation, stability, attention to detail, emphasis on outcome, emphasis on people, aggressiveness, and teamwork. Also, on this series, we have looked at how culture is developed in an organization and how it is implemented. The culture in an organization is formed primarily by the current leader or the past leaders in the organization. I don't want us to forget that. That is very, very important. The thoughts, the values, the beliefs, the experiences, and the expectations of the leader form the base of the culture of an organization. Meaning that when you step into any company or into any business space, whatever culture that is prevalent there would most likely reflect the values, the beliefs, and the expectations of the leader of that organization. The culture of an organization is also formed around critical incidents, events, and people, whether desirable or not, or whether favorable or not. It means that how people respond or certain incidents that stem out of business processes will inform or will shape the culture in your organization. And lastly, we also consider that the culture of an organization is formed in order to maintain a seamless, effective working conditions among members of your organization, meaning that the desire to create a working environment that is conducive and suitable for your employees, an environment that fosters teamwork and collaboration, an environment that fosters work-life balance, an environment that fosters employee loyalty, employee engagement, and job satisfaction will influence the kind of culture that is prevalent in your organization. Together, I want us to also go over the steps that are involved in the development and implementation of a culture in your organization. The first step is that as a business leader, establish the vision for where you want your organization to go. That is very important. The vision must be clear. What is the purpose of your organization? What is the why of your organization? Why is this set up? Is it to provide seamless, timely services? Is it to offer people quality products at the best affordable prices? Is it to ensure that customers have, a very warm, friendly atmosphere where they can engage your services? The vision of your organization must be clear. Then the second step in implementing a culture in your organization is that you must know and analyze what your current workplace organization is like. You must analyze where you are at currently, what is the culture that is currently running in the organization. Analyze if it is, productive, analyze if it is, working for your organization, and then you can tell yourself or tell your staff members what needs to be implemented or what needs to be changed. Then the third step is ensure that you hire and recruit employees who believe in your vision. This is a very important step when you're about to bring in new hires and new recruits. ensure that in your job description your vision is stated, and ensure that you employ new persons or new recruits who believe in your vision and who have the skills and competences to achieve that vision. Then the fourth step that we considered is that you must communicate the vision clearly. One of the things that you want to ensure is that everyone in your organization understands the vision. You want to enjoy the buy-in of your executives, of your managers, your supervisors, and the employees generally. They must understand the vision. They must know where the organization is headed to. They must be able to see the future that you're forecasting for the organization, and they must buy into it. They must agree, and they cannot agree to a vision that is ambiguous. They cannot agree to a vision that is cloudy or confusing in nature. And so the vision must be clear, it must be concise, and you must communicate it clearly to them. Then the next step is you must offer training and support. Offer training where the culture needs technicalities or it involves upgrading or development of skills, and offer support. Understand that implementing a new culture will take time. It is a change, and people need time to adjust or adopt this new change process. So support them, be empathic, be understanding when this change, affects them in certain ways, and give them time to grow into your culture. Then the next thing is continually enforce the new culture every day. You want to ensure that this new culture you're bringing aboard is reflected in your business processes, in your meals, in the traditions, in communications, in your procedures, your policies. Make sure that this new culture is enforced and everyone knows that this is the new modus operandi that is running in our organization. Then the next step to implementing a culture in your organization is that you must ensure that there is continuous performance management. You don't just want to bring up a culture, dump it on your employees, and walk away. You want to continually check, appraise, and evaluate if that culture is the best fit for the organization, and if it is really upscaling your business processes. Is it leading to productivity? Are the employees adjusting to it properly? Or is it leading to burnout and fatigue? Are the employees leaving the organization because the culture is too strict or the culture is extreme? You want to ensure that there is performance management going on when a new culture comes on board. How is this new culture impacting on the performance of the employees? That's a very important point to note when you're implementing a new culture. Then the next point is that you must create reward system to reinforce company culture. Like we say in child psychology, that any character or attributes that you praise, a child will repeat. It's the same with adults. When you praise and you reward and you recognize their efforts, particularly in implementing and adopting a new culture, it reinforces it in their mind. It tells them they're doing something good. It motivates and encourages them to do better. So create reward system to reinforce your company culture, and then lead by example. As a business leader, your employees will do as you do and not as you say. They are watching you because you are the focal person, you are the arrowhead. And so whatever culture that you want implemented in your organization, ensure that you and your management are the first executors of that culture. Lead by example. So today we're going to be looking at the components of the vision of a business leader that influences or that shows in the culture of an organization. Now that we have established that an organizational culture is influenced or shaped by leaders' dreams, values, and expectations, we want to look at the components of that vision that forms a culture. And the components include the values, norms, artifacts, and management style. Let's get right into it. So we'll start with the first component, which is values. Values can be defined as the regard that you feel something or someone deserves to have, or the value or importance you attach to something or someone. It is the value of worth or usefulness that you perceive regarding something or someone. Values can also be defined as the principles or standards you have of expected behavior. So, values means your judgment of what is important in life. When you sit and you write out a priority list, what do you consider as important? That stands as your values. So, in the organizational setting, values are beliefs in what is best or what is good for your organization. When you look at the vision or the future that you have for your organization, what are those things that you think of and you say, this will be great for my organization and I want this to be implemented, or I want this to be a part of our organization? That those are your values, and those values will shape the culture of your organization. So, for example, if you value integrity, you stand by your word. Your yes is your yes, your no is your no. If you tell your customers or your clients that you're going to deliver a product or a service by 10 a.m., your 10 a.m. is your 10 a.m. If you value integrity as a person, then integrity will be a part of the culture of your organization. One of the things that we must know about the values of an organization is that it is recognized across board. It is recognized by your management, it is recognized by your managers, your supervisors, it is recognized by your employees. And that is because you are the focal point. You are the man in front. Everyone is looking to you. And so your values are recognized by everyone. And even when your values are not articulated or documented, meaning that if you don't write it down and there's no formal document to say, oh, as the CEO or the executive director of this organization, these are the 10 or 20 values that I hold in high esteem. Your employees are watching. They're looking at you. What does our boss like? What does he value? How does he respond to the clients or customers? How does he respond to delivery? How does he respond to our projects? Is he a very hardworking person? Is he diligent, or is he laid back? Does he have this laissez-faire attitude and it's just whatever would be? Let's just take life with this chill, easy peasy nature. Your employees are watching, and so that means that the values of a leader, your values as a leader, will be seen throughout business processes, procedures, or systems. And what you must know is that the stronger your values as a leader, the more they would influence the attitude and behavior of everyone in your organization. Have you walked into an organization and you notice that almost everyone dresses the same way, only for you to meet the executive director, the CEO, and you're like, oh, I can see where this dress sense is coming from? A very good example is our religious institutions. You see, people of a church want to dress like their pastor. And that's because they are watching and they believe this is something they can emulate. In the same vein, your employees are watching you as the leader, and your values will most likely influence their behavior. They would most likely want to copy or adopt your values. And so that tells me that whatever your values are, whether they're on the extremes of both scale, whether they are very good and ethical, or whether, they're on the other side of morals, employees are watching and they will most likely adopt it. We must also know that implicit That's internal values that are deeply embedded in the culture of an organization will reinforce the behavior of the employees in your organization, while extrinsic or external or shallow values that are idealistic and are not reflected in your behavior as the leader will have little or no effect on your employees. Now, it is good that as a business leader, you have values that align the organization as a whole to achieve that vision or that mission or that purpose that you have in mind. You must have values that, when you bring them together, when they're implemented in your organization, can help you and your employees achieve the corporate goals or the vision that you have set. When values are out of alignment, people work towards different goals with different intentions, and you will come up, or people will come up with different outcomes. And the problem with this is that it can damage work relationships, it can affect productivity, it can hamper job satisfaction, and it can reduce creative potential. So this means that it is very important that your employees' personal workplace values align with the corporate organization's values. And one of the ways you can align your employees' personal values is when they see the values that you have as a business leader. You cannot be a business leader who says, "Oh, I value punctuality," and you're always coming late. Remember, one of the key steps in implementing a culture in an organization is that you must lead by example. And so if you have an employee who, feels like, "Oh, I can come to work whenever I want," when they start to see you as the leader come to work promptly and you're punctual, they will begin to adjust and they will begin to adopt that value that they see in you. So what are the different values that can be reflected in your organization or in the workplace? We have care and consideration for employees, we have competence, we have excellence and quality. Oh, that's an amazing value, and that's a value that improves your brand and attracts more customers to your organization. We have customer service, good quality customer service, attending to customers in a warm way, attending to their requests or their inquiries promptly, sending them mails to check on them, to let them know that you're mindful of them, looking for ways to improve your products or services so that your customers are satisfied. That is an amazing value to have. We also have competitiveness. Competitiveness is very important in today's dynamic, ever-evolving world. You want to make sure that you're staying at the top of the game. You're the best in your industry. You're the best in what you do. That is a very wonderful value. And then we have performance. We have innovation, creativity, looking for new ways to render services or to deliver your products, new innovative ideas. And then another value that you can have as a business leader is growth and development, particularly the growth and development of your employees, creating an atmosphere or a system of continuous learning, both for yourself and for your employees, ensuring that everyone is getting better at what they do. Another value that you can reflect in your organization as a business leader is teamwork and collaboration, ensuring that everyone's ideas are welcome, everyone is pitching in, everyone is carried along in the execution of your vision. One of the things that you must know as a business leader is that you cannot mono create or mono execute. My colleague Tolu Omodara has done an excellent job on the part or the role that employees play in achieving a vision for, particularly, for a transformational leader. And so one of the things you want to do as a transformational leader is to ensure the growth and development of your employees and ensure that there is beautiful, seamless teamwork and synergy. Another value that you can reflect is integrity. I talked about that. Accountability and transparency. You're open Everyone knows the business processes. We know what is going on. We know the current project. We know what we are doing right now. And we know where we're going to. Accountability and transparency. And then mutual respect and honor. These are amazing values that you can reflect or you can emulate as a business leader in your organization. The next component of your vision as a leader that we want to consider or is the norms. The next component of your vision as a business leader that we want to consider is norms. So what are norms? Norms are the unwritten rules of behavior. The unwritten rules of behavior. They talk about the rules of the game that provide informal guidelines on how to behave. Norms tell people what they are supposed to be doing, what they're supposed to be saying, how they're supposed to dress, what they're supposed to believe in, how they're supposed to speak and respond to people. Those are norms. Those, informal expectations of people on you. People look at you and say, oh, if you're the CEO of an organization, we expect you to dress in this way. We expect you to be dressed in some very nice Italian suits. Yes, I love, the formal dressing. People just expect that, oh, if you're a CEO, this is how you're supposed to behave. This is how you're supposed to talk. And people expect the same of your employees. So those informal rules that influences the behavior or the attitude of a person are called norms. So usually norms in the organization are not expressed in writing, because if they were, they become policies that has to be adhered by everyone in the organization. So norms are usually passed on by word of mouth or behavior, and they are enforced by reactions of people in the organization, particularly if those behaviors or if those expectations are violated or not met. A very good example is how we dress, or how your employees dress. Sometimes it is not written. It's not a written document that, oh, you must dress in a certain way. A new recruit comes into an organization and he begins to observe other employees on how they dress, or they dress in a very corporate, formal way. And then the day this new recruit feels like, I want to, dress down, I just want to enjoy myself, I want to be free, and comes to the office wearing, a pair of sneakers and jeans and t-shirts, the reactions of every other person in the organization will tell the employee whether that norm or that behavior is accepted or not. Or manner of speaking. Some organizations have a very formal way of speaking. We address everyone, with formal business, languages. Our nuances are very formal. And then if an employee or a new recruit is coming from a place where it is more toned down and more, informal, and it use a particular, language or particular vocabulary that is not formal, or probably they speak a particular vernacular. You see the way everyone raises their eyebrow like, no, that is not accepted here. That all that stands to be the norms of your organization. And the norms are so powerful that they can exert pressure on the behavior of people because of these reactions. Now, at this point, it is important to note the difference between values and norms. Values are the basic beliefs that guide the actions of individuals. So when I'm talking about values, I'm talking about the beliefs that you have that guides your own action as an individual or as a leader. While norms are the expectations that the society has for people's behavior. So the society expects you to behave in a certain way. Those are norms. So values tell individuals what is right or wrong, while norms tell individuals what is acceptable or not. Values are more abstract and universal than norms, while norms are specific to a particular culture or society. I'll give a very good example. My colleagues in the US or the UK would say that when it's summer, they're allowed to wear shorts and, they can wear, tops that expose their arms. I'm talking about, female colleagues, because the weather is hot, and they're allowed to, dress down. But then when they come to Africa, there's this eyebrow that is raised, because we believe that in Africa women should be modestly dressed, and their bodies should be covered. Even in summer, in the heat, women should still be covered. And so when they come from that side of the world and they come to Africa, those are their, it's okay over there, but when they come here, the norm is that women should be modestly dressed and covered. And so there's this eyebrow that is raised, like, these women are exposed. They're exposing their body. And that can also be reflected in your organization. People have certain expectations of you. Your customers, your clients have expectations of you. And those expectations can influence the way you and your employees behave. Another difference between values and norms is that values tend to be passed down from generation to generation. And so it means that values are long lasting, while norms can change relatively depending on the society or the environment. With that being said, there is often an overlap between norms and values. For example, one of the society's norms, or one of the expectations in the society, is that one should not kill. And this norm can also be a value for you as an individual. So it means that your value is also corresponding or is overlapping with the societal norm. Another example is integrity or honesty. The society expects you to be honest, particularly as a business leader. And if that is a value for you, that's beautiful. It overlaps, and then it's a seamless synergy or marriage of your values and the norms of the society. However, when there is a conflict between organizational values, or your values as the business leader, and societal norms, ensure that the values of your organization always triumph. Genuine organizational values should always be maintained, except if they were not what being called values in the first place. When you have genuine values, for example, if the society where you belong expects you to be shady, expects you to be corrupt and give bribes, but you have a value of integrity, make sure you stand on your value of integrity. That will pay your organization in the long run, and it will give your organization a unique brand. Remember that we said that the culture of your organization is your unique brand, is your unique identity. Eventually, people would associate your organization with integrity, and people will say, oh, if you go to that organization, you can be sure that they will tell you the truth. They will deal with you in honesty. So ensure that when you have genuine values and they conflict with societal norms, ensure that your own values or the organizational values take the lead. So what are the norms that we see, normally in the organization, or examples of norms that are prevalent or can be prevalent in your organization? We have how managers treat the members of their teams, and how the employees also relate with their managers. We have the prevailing work ethic. Is it, the work hard, play hard kind of setting? Is it the come in early, stay late, or come in early, leave early? Or is it, the you must look busy at all times, just ensure that your work, you look busy. I have a colleague that, when he wants to relax after, take a break, he will just keep pacing the corridor. He'll keep walking about the corridor. And usually when other colleagues ask, why are you walking about the corridor? He would say, I just want to look busy. I don't want to look like I'm playing away my time. So that can also be a norm. It's not written down. There's no place where anybody writes down that you must always look busy. But somehow everyone just begins to adopt that system. So that can be a norm in your organization. Then another norm is status. How much importance is attached to status? Are employees expected to call managers by their title? Oh, the executive director, sir. The general manager, sir. Or is it okay? It's a more relaxed, environment where the status symbols are not so strong. Another, norm is ambition. Is it your organization? Do you encourage ambition, competitiveness, everyone going for, the prize? Or do you believe in a more subtle approach? If you're going to, be competitive, make sure it is, healthy, and make sure it is toned down. That's something you want to look at. Then performance is another norm. I mean, are we the high, exacting performance organization? Or are we the organization that, pushes our employees to do the best, but we don't push them beyond that so they don't break down? That's a norm that can be prevalent in your organization. Loyalty is another norm. Are we expected to be loyal to the organization? Is it expected to stay for a certain period of time in the organization? Are we expected to be loyal to the brand or to the product of the organization? Am I expected to use only the brand that my organization produces as an employee, or I'm free to use other brands? That can be a norm. Another norm that you want to consider, or that can be prevalent in your organization, is anger and conflict resolution. Do we openly express our anger, or is it resolved behind closed doors, hidden, and done codedly? Another thing is approachability. Are managers approachable in your organization, or does everything happen behind closed doors and employees just obey the last command of the managers? Another norm that can express itself in your organization is formality. Do we have this formal approach where we don't call people by names, or if we're going to call people by names, we attach a title, we use sir and ma? Is it formal, or is it a more casual setting where people, where employees call themselves by their first names, and it really doesn't mean so much? So those are the norms that can express itself in your organization, and those norms can in turn influence and impact the culture of your organization. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll look at the other components of your vision as a business leader in shaping the culture of your organization. You're welcome back. If you're just joining in, my name is Adikweju Jayoba, and we're looking at reconnecting work generations through organizational culture. And we're looking at the fact that the thoughts, the beliefs, the expectations, the philosophies, and the perceptions of a leader will primarily shape the culture of an organization. And we're looking at the components of that vision, of the thoughts or the belief systems of a leader in the culture of an organization. And we have looked at values, and values talks about the beliefs that a business leader holds as important or as esteemed. And we have looked at norms, and norms talks about the unwritten rules that are expected in your organization, the unwritten rules of behavior that influences or tells the employees in your organization how to behave, how to speak, how to dress, or the expectations the society requires or has of your organization, that in turn becomes influences the manner of behavior or attitude in your organization. The third component we're looking at today is artifacts. And so what are artifacts? Artifacts are the physical, visible, and tangible aspects of an organization that people hear, see, or feel, and it contributes to their understanding of the organization's culture. And so artifacts talks about the physical symbols people can interact with. So somebody walks into your organization, and the first thing they're saying is probably how your front desk secretary, or how the man at the gate, or somebody, how your employees welcome them. Is it warm? Is it friendly? Those are artifacts. How they dress, is it formal, or everyone on formal, business attire, or is more toned down and casual? Those are the artifacts. The ambience of your waiting room or your reception. Do you have a TV there? Do you have magazines? What kind of magazines or journals do you have there? Do you have just, lifestyle, fashion magazines that tells them something about the organization? That this organization places premium on fashion? Or is it business, strictly business? And say, okay, this organization is very formal and business minded. Do you have a TV in your waiting room or your reception? What channel or what program is playing on the TV? Is it, a movie to just, relax your customers while, they are waiting to be attended to? Or is it, a business channel? Is it a program on, financial management, or business processes? All that are the artifacts that people can interact with. And those are the first things that start to tell people about the culture of your organization. And so artifacts, are, things in the physical environment that customers or clients can interact with. And one of the things that that it also interacts with is employee interaction, the way the employees dress. I mentioned that. Company policies, the tone or the language with which your employees speak, or the tone of the language in your emails, your letters, or your memoranda, the manner in which people address each other at meetings. Those are the artifacts. The welcome or lack of welcome given to visitors, and the way in which customer care representatives deal with outside calls. So artifacts are very revealing because they are, physical in nature, meaning that people can see them or hear them or interact with them, and they say a lot about the vision of the leader and the values that are held within the organization. Wow, we're short of time, and this is all we can take on today's episode. Thank you for joining in, and thank you for listening to. Next week, we'll be looking at the fourth component of the vision of a business leader in shaping an organizational culture, and that is management styles. You don't want to miss it. For feedbacks, for inquiries, for questions, for comments, do visit us at www.theamorgate.org. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and Instagram. We would love to connect with you. We would love to hear from you. And we would also love to work with you, in achieving smooth, seamless, highly productive business processes. And so if you need our help, kindly reach out to us. Connect with us. That is why we're here. We're here to help you every step of the way. I believe that you learned something useful today that can enhance your business process and improve success in your organization. Until I come your way, same time, same station next week. Keep being amazing. Keep being the best you can be. Bye for now.